I can't get my triceps to grow. I've been lifting for almost 4 months now and I've seen significant progress everywhere except for my triceps. I'm trying to grow my triceps out, but I don't know which exercise I should do. How do you build horseshoe triceps? When I started out in the gym, it was always my arms that grew the least. They were always the hardest to grow. I would work them like twice a week and I wouldn't really see any sort of difference. At least that's how I felt at the time. I would always be working harder, having a heavier weight, maybe doing more reps, maybe doing it slower, but whatever I found, it wasn't working like I thought it would. At the end of the day, my arms just refused to grow and I remained kind of skinny until I learnt the actual best exercises for growing your triceps. And then I just locked in on my fitness journey and these are my results now. So after I tell you what worked for me, you can either choose one of these two scenarios. You can either take my advice and what worked well for me and start to implement it into your own routine, seeing if it works for you, and it will likely work for you, and then you will blow up your triceps. Not only the size, but also the strength, which will help you get a bigger chest and almost everything else as a huge muscle in the body. Or you could just completely ignore my advice and completely ignore what worked for me and continue doing what you're doing now, which is clearly leading you to be unhappy with the size of your triceps or the strength of your triceps, because if you were happy with it, you wouldn't be on this video. Clearly something's gone wrong. This is what went right for me. Please like and subscribe and join my Discord in the description. So here's the anatomy of the tricep and why you need to know about it. So there's 3 sections of the tricep. There's the long head, there's the medial head, and then there's the lateral head. The long head is the muscle at the back, so it's this one here. The lateral head is the tricep muscle on the side. Then you have the median head, which almost lies beneath these muscles, and you can't really see it. It doesn't really get much bigger, but it is vital for the strength of your triceps and your elbows actually altogether, because this one overlaps over the elbow, the same as the lateral head. So in order to get bigger triceps, we have to make sure that we're looking at all 3 of these muscles, but having a slight bias towards the long head of the tricep muscle group. This is because, just to be quite simple, it is the biggest one of the 3. Again, all 3 of them have their own benefits. The median head will actually be able to kind of fill in this space here that you have just above your elbow and just below the kind of horseshoe of your tricep, which is a super overlooked muscle. And as well, the lateral muscle of your tricep is really important for having thicker arms and looking straight forward. This is something that I actually kind of should benefit for, because I would like to have my triceps come out a bit more this way. You can kind of see there's a bit of the muscle there. That right there is the lateral head, whereas this here is the long head, and then the median head will be just this bit here. So what tricep exercises do we need to do? So I'm going to be giving a few of the best options to hit the different heads of the tricep group. So starting out with is what is considered the most important, at least in this video, is the long head of the tricep. Now with this, you're going to want to do more exercises that are above your head. For whatever reason, this hits this part of the muscle. I can actually feel it when I'm doing it now because I just did a tricep day. So you're either going to want to do something like a cable, when you put the cable like on a lower setting and you go like this, or you're going to want to do what I do, which is one of my like classics. I do this every time, which is when I have a dumbbell and I just put it up above my body like that, and then you slowly put it down behind your head and then you put it back up like that. Those 2 are absolutely perfect and they really add mass onto your muscles. But if you don't want to do that, another one that works is dips. Tricep dips is super important for strength. It's actually an amazing exercise, but as it does also look at the long head of the tricep group, it also contributes to the lateral head of the tricep group, which means you get a little bit less, how should I say this, specialty towards getting the long head bigger, because you're not just working that. That's not just taking the full load. And the last exercise for the long head that you could do is probably the most popular tricep exercise out there, and it's super simple. It's just skull crushers. Now, if you're a beginner in the gym, I would personally say don't do skull crushers at the beginning. I'm only saying this because out of personal experience, when I was starting in the gym, when I would start doing these skull crushers, my elbow would ache. and it would actually hurt. So I'm not going to try and recommend that to you, because if you're stopping a workout because your elbows are hurting or your joints are aching or something like that, you're not actually stopping because your muscle's at full capacity. Your muscle could probably work a little bit more, but it's actually something else. It's your joints. It's something that shouldn't be coming in the way of your muscles reaching hypertrophy, which means that it gets bigger. So don't do the skull crushers if you're at a beginning stage. If you are at a beginning stage but you really want to do skull crushers, just go for a lighter weight. Now let's move on to the lateral head of the triceps. So remember when I talked about the long head doing it over your head like this? With the lateral tricep, what we're going to want to do is do more tricep workouts that are below you. So I always do a rope pull down, always. It hits the lateral head really well, and if you don't want to do it with ropes, you can do it with the kind of V looking bar, and if again you don't want to do that, you can do dips. The lateral head is really important, but it is worked with almost all of the other tricep exercises. This also goes as well for the median head, and the median head again is almost hit with every single tricep exercise, but there are a few of them that do leverage themselves a little bit towards this one in particular, and these are reverse grip tricep pushdowns. So the natural movement for a pushdown is for your hands to be like this. This instead puts them like this. Now what it does is it will actually work your wrists a little bit more, but it will work this part of your tricep just because it puts more leverage kind of on the elbow a little bit more, and since the median head is covered by the elbow, that will hypertrophy that muscle a little bit more. Similar to just doing a normal dip that we've spoken about already on this video and you've probably done before. A bench dip is basically where you just sit away from the bench and you have your palms facing down on the bench like this, and then you go down like that. The last thing I want to say about the median head is one of the exercises that people recommend is the tricep kickbacks, and I'm going to tell you this now. Unless you really love doing tricep kickbacks, don't do it. It's a pretty pointless exercise, and it's actually not very optimal at all for muscle growth. And I know I've spoken before about not wanting to do optimal exercises, but there comes a point where you have to actually take into account if you're just wasting time. Why I'm saying this about the tricep kickback is because a huge part of growing your triceps is putting it in the stretched position, and the kickbacks don't have any tension in the stretched position at all. You're basically just extending your arm out. To be fair, yes, you are going to be getting a nice squeeze at the top, but you've got absolutely like no range of movement. You may as well literally do any other exercise other than that one, unless you really love that one or something. And I don't know why you would, but anyway, whatever. Watch this video here if you want to see a full day of bulking.